Hey coding buds, so basically in today's GFG POTD we have a problem, group balls by sequence, and it is also a medium level problem. And as a problem statement is given as, you are given an array of positive integers where each element array of I represents the number written on the ith ball, and a positive integer k we have given. Okay, and here our task is to determine whether it is possible to rearrange all the balls into groups such that each group contains exactly k balls, and the second point is given as the number in each balls are consecutive integers. So basically in the given problem we have an array, and in each array we have positive numbers, okay, positive integers numbers, and these are like arranged in some random fashions, and we have to define that whether we can able to like create any consecutive pairs by the given number of integers or not. Okay, so like as the question given here and as example 1 is given here, inside the example 1 we have like elements like 10, 1, 2 and 11, right? So let me explain here what is going on. Let's say 10, 1, 2 and 11, 10, 1, 2 and 11. So basically these all are like balls here. Okay, so we have to derive that whether we are eligible to create any group of consecutive integers in exactly, let's say, k balls. Okay, as the problem is like asking here. So what we can do here, let's say in the first example here, if k is equal to 2, let's say k is equal to 2, that means, so first of all we can check, that means what is our balls is like can we create any pairs in the form of like k numbers of pairs balls. Okay, so as you can say we have 4, right? So we can now eligible to create 2 pairs, okay, in the that returns the number of balls. Okay, let's say this is the one pair and this is the another pair. So yeah, the first point is clear that we can able to create our consecutive, or we can say that exactly k balls. Okay, k exactly balls. Okay, so here we can write our base case here, that means if array dot size, okay, is like, here we have to use modulus operator for checking the size of an array. Is the size of an array is divisible by k balls or not? If it is like not equal to 0, that means if it is not equal to the k size of the balls, then here we simply return false. Okay, that means we can't able to create any type of pairs. Okay, and the second thing is that once we know that now we can able to create the pairs, now we have to our task is to create consecutive pairs for the given balls here. Okay, so and these must be having consecutive pairs. Like if we are going to check about this is the one pair and this is another pair, so here we have to turn the output as like 1 and 2, because we know very well 1 and 2 is like comes after each other. Okay, so 1, 2 is the one pair and second pair is like 10, 11, so they form consecutive numbers also, right? They form consecutive pairs, and also pairs, also pairs is also available. So we can say that this for this given problem we have to return true. But talking about the second example here, we have like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is basically 5 elements, and if we are like creating any pairs in the form of 2, then still one ball is like going to be single. Okay, that means it is not having any pairs, so we can't able to make any pair for the second example here. So here we have written false. Okay, and now we have to solve this problem with an expected time complexity of order of n log n and expected order space of order of n. So I'm going to explain here by the example 1 here how we can solve this given problem here. Okay, so first of all we have to check the condition, that means if array dot size, if the size of an array is like not divisible by k, that means the given size, so we can't able to create any pair. So in that case we have to simply return false. Else what we have to do for making the pair. First of all, we have to count their frequencies. So here we have to get a map that count the frequency. Let's say here 1. For as we can say, 1 is like occurring for only one time, so their frequency is like 1, and then 2, which is also presenting it for one time, so here it is also again 1. 10 is also like presenting at one time, so again here we have to say their frequency as 1, and 11 is also like uh, present only for just one time, so here we have to say that one time. So this is here I've created a map which is like arranging the items in proper index with proper index values. Okay, so here like 1, 2, 10 and 11 we are actually getting. Okay, where this one is defining our the values, and this one is defining our frequencies. Okay, so here in our program, first of all we have to get our map. Okay, so here I'm getting our map of integer types, where first integer defines the value and second integer defines the frequencies. So let's say I'm defining here frequencies, then after that here I need to traverse inside the array, and let's say int num is equal to int num, which is traversing inside the array, and then after that we have to count the frequencies. Okay, so here we have to count the frequency. So what we can do here we have our map, which is frequencies. Here we have inside that we have an array num. We have to simply make frequency of num plus plus. So once we have like count the frequencies, our second step is to check for the small groups. Okay, so for that what we can do here, first of all we have to like again let's say traverse. Okay, for auto, here I have to create an iterator, okay, which is basically traversing inside our frequencies. Okay, frequencies dot begin. Okay, and frequency, and if my iterator is like not equal to frequency dot end, then what I have to do, pre-increment of iterator. Inside that what we have to do, here I have to create my first, we can say that first variable, let's say start, which basically pointing to our let's say here we have to create a start variable which basically pointing to this number. Okay, and so here we can say that int start is equal to iterators first. Okay, that means it is pointing to this particular columns. Okay, that means those who like represents for the numbers or the items. Okay, and similarly we have to create our count. Okay, let's say int count, and that counts their frequencies. That means iterators frequency, which is our second element, so we have to write our second. Okay, so our first represents the values and the second represents the frequencies. Okay, once we like define these things, now we need to check. Okay, about what, if count is greater than 0, that means then we can able to create the form. Okay, now once we have checking that if our count is greater than 0, now we need to make a pairs of key size ball. Okay, so what we can do here, if here we can say that if my count is like greater than 0, now we need to create our balls of in the consecutive manner way. Okay, so how we can do these things, if count is greater than 0, now what we can do, here we have to make int current. Okay, which basically pointing to our current element. Okay, current is equal to, let's say int current is equal to, here we have to do start plus I, and we know about I is our. Okay, so for that first of all what we have to do, inside that here we have to traverse. Okay, that means you have to create key consecutive pairs. So for that first of all you have to traverse for int I is equal to 0, I is less than k, that means here we have to create k size of pairs. Okay, and then plus I. Okay, then after that what we will do, we have to create the pairs. So for that first of all we have to create a current variable, which is basically here we have to do start plus I. Okay, now that's basically points to this is our first, that means this is the start point. Okay, and this is the start and this is our count. Okay, so here you can see that this is basically a start and this is basically a count. Okay, so we say that if we actually doing start plus I, that means this is our zeroth index, right? Zeroth index, one index, oh sorry, one index, it is basically one index, because in the map we are actually storing our values in the form of indexing. So yeah, it is like indexing. So here we can say that start plus I. Okay, and here we can say that if int current is equal to start plus I, and here we can set if count, if current, after doing these things what we have to do, int current is equal to start plus I, if frequencies of current is like less than count. Okay, then what we have to do, we have to return false. Okay, that means we can't able to create our pairs. Okay, else what we have to do, we have to make frequencies of current minus is equal to count, and at the last we need to simply say return true. Okay, that means we can able to create our pairs. Let's make comparison. Okay, so here I've done something mistake here, which is iterator dot okay, so here auto iterator is equal to, okay, frequency dot begin and iterator is not equal to frequency dot end, then plus plus I. So yeah, our compilation is completed. Let's try to submit it. So it's submitted. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching.